She gave up her voice. She gave up her family. She gave up her entire world. And in the end, she dissolved into foam on the ocean waves, while the man she loved slept beside another woman. That's not the version you know. You know the Disney version. Ariel, red hair, purple seashells, Sebastian singing Under the Sea, a villain named Ursula, a kiss, a wedding, a happily ever after. The 1989 film became one of the most beloved animated movies ever made. It launched the Disney Renaissance, little girls dressed as Ariel for decades. The story became synonymous with following your dreams, finding your voice, and love conquering all. But the original Little Mermaid, written in 1837, had no happy ending, no wedding, no kiss, no triumph. Just a girl who gave everything for a man who never knew her name. A girl who was offered one chance to save herself. A girl who chose death instead. This is the real Little Mermaid. And by the time I am done, you will never hear part of your world the same way again. The story begins in Denmark in 1837. Hans Christian Andersen was one of the most celebrated writers in Europe. He had already published fairy tales that would become classics: The Ugly Duckling, The Emperor's New Clothes, The Snow Queen. But The Little Mermaid was different. Andersen wrote it during one of the darkest periods of his life. He had fallen deeply in love with a man named Edvard Collin. Edvard didn't love him back. When Edvard announced his engagement to a woman, Andersen was devastated. He channeled that heartbreak into a story about a creature who loved someone who could never love her back. Someone who sacrificed everything and received nothing in return. The Little Mermaid was not a romance, it was a tragedy, and it was deeply personal. In Andersen's tale, the mermaid has no name. She is simply the youngest of 6 sisters, daughters of the Sea King. They live in a palace beneath the waves, far below where sunlight reaches. The mermaid is nameless. Mermaids in this world live for 300 years. But when they die, they do not have souls. They simply dissolve into sea foam. No heaven, no afterlife. Just nothingness. The word souls matters here. The Little Mermaid is fascinated by the world above the water. Her grandmother tells her stories about humans, creatures who live such short lives but possess something mermaids do not. She longs for the surface. Immortal souls. On a mermaid's 15th birthday, she is allowed to swim to the surface for the first time. The Little Mermaid waits years for her turn, watching each sister return with stories of ships and cities and strange human customs. This is her first chance. Finally, her birthday arrives. She rises through the dark water until her head breaks the surface. And there, silhouetted against the sunset, she sees a ship. The ship is decorated with colored lanterns and streaming flags. Music plays across the deck. People dance beneath the stars. At the center of the celebration is a young prince with dark eyes and a kind smile. The prince stands in the middle of it all. He is celebrating his birthday. The Little Mermaid watches from the waves, hidden in the darkness. She cannot look away. She has never seen anything so beautiful. Then the storm comes. The sky turns black. Waves crash over the deck. The masts splinter. The ship begins to sink. The prince is thrown into the churning sea. He cannot swim. The Little Mermaid dives. She catches him before he drowns. She holds his head above the water through the long, violent night. When dawn breaks, she carries his unconscious body to a sandy beach near a white church on the shore. She dives, and she does not stop. She hides in the shallow water and watches. A young girl emerges from the church. She finds the prince on the sand. She calls for help. People rush out and carry him inside. The church becomes the scene of the rescue. The prince opens his eyes. The first face he sees is the girl from the church. He never sees the mermaid. He never knows who really saved him. He will never know. And she sinks back beneath the waves, already in love with someone who does not know she exists. From that day on, the little mermaid can think of nothing else. She swims to the surface every night, watching the prince's castle from the darkness beyond the harbour. She learns everything about the human world. She asks her grandmother endless questions about souls and heaven and what happens when humans die. Her grandmother tells her that if a human loves a mermaid enough to marry her, part of his soul will flow into her. She will become human. She will gain an immortal soul. The little mermaid becomes obsessed. She wants the prince. She wants a soul. She wants to be part of his world. And she knows who can help her. The sea witch lives in the darkest waters of the ocean. To reach her, the mermaid must swim through dangerous currents and past underwater caves where strange creatures lurk in the shadows. Many who seek the witch never return. The mermaid finds her in a dark cavern. She tells the witch what she wants. Human legs, a chance to make the prince love her, a chance to gain a soul. The witch laughs. She can give the mermaid what she wants. She has a potion that will split her tail into 2 human legs. The transformation will make the mermaid the most graceful dancer in the world. But there are conditions. First, the price. The witch wants the mermaid's voice, not just her ability to speak, her tongue. The witch takes a blade and cuts it from her mouth. The mermaid will never speak again, never sing again, never tell the prince who she is or that she saved his life. Second, the pain. The potion will work, but every step the mermaid takes on her new legs will feel like walking on sharp knives. Every movement will be agony. Third, the stakes. If the prince marries another woman, the mermaid will not simply lose her chance at a soul. She will die. The morning after his wedding, when the first light of dawn touches the sea, her heart will break and she will dissolve into foam. Forever. The mermaid agrees to everything. The witch cuts out her tongue. The mermaid takes the potion and swims to the surface, her voice already gone. She drags herself onto the beach near the prince's castle as the sun sets. She drinks the potion. The pain is beyond anything she imagined. It feels like a sword passing through her body. She faints from the agony. When she wakes, her tail is gone. In its place are 2 pale, slender human legs. She is naked on the sand. She cannot speak. She does not know how to walk. And standing over her, looking down with curiosity and concern, is the prince. He takes her to his palace. He gives her silk dresses and soft shoes. He lets her sleep on a velvet cushion outside his door. He takes her riding with him through the forests and sailing with him across the harbour. He calls her his little foundling, his silent companion. Every step she takes feels like walking on broken glass. But she walks anyway. She dances for him in the great ballrooms of the palace, spinning and leaping while pain shoots through her feet. The prince applauds. He says she dances more beautifully than anyone he has ever seen. He does not know she is bleeding inside her silk slippers. He grows fond of her. He kisses her forehead. He holds her hand. He tells her she reminds him of a girl he once saw, the girl who saved his life on the beach near the church. The mermaid's heart breaks a little more each time. She saved him. She was there. But she cannot tell him. She cannot speak. She can only look at him with her deep, sad eyes and hope he understands. He never does. One day the prince tells her he must travel to a neighboring kingdom. His parents want him to meet a princess. He doesn't want to go. He tells the mermaid he could never love the princess. His heart belongs to the girl from the church, but he goes anyway. When he arrives at the foreign court, he sees the princess for the first time, and his face changes. It's her, the girl from the beach, the girl who found him after the storm, the girl he has dreamed about for years. She had been sent away for her education. That's why he never found her. But now she's here, and he is certain that fate has brought them together. He announces the wedding immediately. The little mermaid stands beside him as he signs the marriage contract. She helps dress the princess in her wedding gown. She scatters flowers as they walk to the ship where the ceremony will be held. Every step is agony. Every smile hides despair. She is watching the man she loves marry someone else, and she cannot say a word. The wedding is held on the deck of a grand ship anchored in the harbour. Lanterns hang from the masts, musicians play, cannons fire salutes into the evening sky. The prince and princess dance beneath the stars. The mermaid dances too. One last time, she spins and leaps across the deck, more graceful than she has ever been, while the knives tear through her feet. Everyone applauds. The prince smiles at her. He doesn't know this is her death dance. When the celebration ends, the prince and his bride retire to their wedding cabin. The crew falls asleep. The ship grows quiet beneath the stars. The mermaid stands at the railing, watching the horizon. She knows what dawn will bring. Then she hears voices from the water. Her 5 sisters rise from the waves. Their faces are pale. Their beautiful long hair, their pride and their glory, is gone. They have been to the sea witch. They gave their hair for one last chance to save their sister. The witch gave them a knife. They throw it onto the deck at the mermaid's feet. If she plunges the knife into the prince's heart before the sun rises, if she lets his warm blood drip onto her feet, her legs will become a tail again. She will be a mermaid once more. She will live out her 300 years beneath the sea. All she has to do is kill him. The mermaid picks up the knife. The blade glints in the moonlight. She pulls back the curtain of the wedding cabin. Inside, the prince lies sleeping, his arm wrapped around his new bride. Their breathing is soft, peaceful. The mermaid raises the knife over his heart. She looks at his face, the face she crossed worlds for, the face she gave her voice for, the face she bled for every single day. Her hand trembles. She cannot do it. She loves him too much to hurt him. Even now, even as her own death approaches. She drops the knife. She walks to the edge of the ship. The sky is turning pink. Dawn is moments away. She looks back one last time at the cabin where the prince sleeps beside his bride. He will never know what she sacrificed. He will never know she was the one who saved him. He will never know she existed at all. She throws herself into the sea. The moment her body touches the water, it begins to dissolve. Her legs melt away. Her skin turns to bubbles. Her form becomes mist and light. She doesn't feel pain anymore. She doesn't feel anything. She becomes foam on the waves, gone. That's the original ending of The Little Mermaid. No wedding, no kiss, no triumph. Just a girl who gave everything for a man who never knew her and paid for it with her existence. Hans Christian Andersen published the story in 1837. For 150 years, that was the only version. Children across Europe grew up with this tale. They learned that love does not always win, that sacrifice does not always pay off, that sometimes you give everything and still end up as nothing but foam on the morning tide. Then Disney rewrote it. In 1989, Disney released their adaptation. They gave the mermaid a name, Ariel. They gave her a sidekick, Sebastian the Crab. They gave her a villain, Ursula. And they gave her a voice. In Disney's version, Ariel loses her voice but gets it back. She defeats Ursula. The prince learns the truth. He chooses her. They get married on a ship in the harbour. Her father gives his blessing. She becomes human and keeps her soul. The tragedy became a triumph. The silence became a song. The foam became a wedding gown. Disney removed the tongue being cut out. They removed the constant pain. They removed the prince marrying someone else. They removed the knife. They removed the choice. They removed the death. They removed everything that made the story real. And millions of children grew up thinking The Little Mermaid was about a girl who followed her dreams and got everything she wanted. They never knew about the foam. Here's what makes the original so devastating. The Little Mermaid does everything right. She saves the prince's life. She gives up her family, her home, her voice. She endures unimaginable pain without complaint. She loves him completely. And none of it matters. The prince doesn't choose her. Not because she's not good enough, not because she did something wrong. He simply loves someone else. That's not a villain's scheme. That's not a curse that can be broken. That's just life. Sometimes you give everything and still lose. Hans Christian Andersen knew that feeling. He lived it. The man he loved married a woman. Andersen watched it happen. He smiled at the wedding. And then he wrote a story about a creature who loved someone who could never love her back. She watched him marry someone else. She chose to become nothing rather than live with the pain. The Little Mermaid is not a fairy tale about dreams coming true. It's a story about loving someone who doesn't love you back, about giving up everything for someone who doesn't even know your name, about the silence of unrequited love. Disney gave the mermaid a happy ending because that's what Disney does. But Andersen gave her the truth. Some loves don't work out. Some sacrifices aren't rewarded. Some voices are never heard. And some girls become foam on the waves, watching the sunrise paint the sky, colors they'll never see again. That's The Little Mermaid, ending Disney couldn't show. Now you know.